Hey, Jeremy, that spot is hot, like Silk City Hot Sauce.
Like Silk City Hot Sauce.
Use promo code STEEL at silkcityhotsauce.com for 20% off of your order.
You're giving them extra promo. That's amazing.
STEAL. Steel. Check it out.
We got Michael Jeremy again from Michael Jeremy Steal Your Podcast. They would never not come for part 2 of this. I left them on such a cliffhanger. Dick. So I'm just gonna share it. We're gonna start with a fucking video right off the bat.
Jumping right in. Is this the pornography that Jeremy was talking about?
Yeah, I hope. I looked for a long time after that episode. Long time. This is footage from the trial, Michael, but this happens before the trial. Everything that's brought to trial happens before trial. Okay, Mike?
You tease.
But this is her first call when she's first arrested. Because I left you guys, all of her lies just fucking compounded, and she just finally got arrested. This is her first phone call to her mom when she's in jail.
Hello?
Hello, this is a free call from Casey.
An inmate from the Orange County Correctional Center. For a rate quote, press 7. To accept this free call, press 0. To obtain a customer this call is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Casey? Mom.
Hey, sweetie.
Well, I just saw your nice little cameo on TV.
Which one?
What do you mean, which one?
Which one? I did 4 different ones, and I don't know. I haven't seen them all. I've only seen 1 or 2 so far.
You don't know what my involvement is and stuff?
Casey.
Mom.
What?
No.
I don't know what your involvement is, sweetheart. You're not telling me where she's at.
Because I don't fucking know where she's at. Are you kidding me?
Casey, don't waste your call to scream and holler at me.
Waste my call sitting in, the jail?
Whose fault is
bunks are?
Whose fault is you're sitting in the jail? You're blaming me that you're sitting in the jail?
Not
Blame
my
yourself
fault.
for telling lies. You mean it's not your fault? What do you mean it's not your fault, sweetheart? If you'd have told them the truth and not lied about everything, they wouldn't.
Do me a favor, just tell me what Tony's number is. I don't want to talk to you right now. Forget it.
I don't have his number.
We'll get it from Lee because I know Lee's at the house. I saw Mallory's car was out front. It was just on the news. They were just live outside the house.
I know they were.
Well?
Well?
Can you get Tony's number for me so I can call him?
No.
Hey.
Hey, can you give me Tony's number?
I can do that. I don't know what real good it's going to do you at this point.
Well, I'd like to talk to him anyway.
Okay.
Because I called to talk to my mother, and it's a fucking waste. Oh, by the way, I don't want any of you coming up here when I have my first hearing for bond and everything else. Like, don't even fucking waste your time coming up here.
You know, you're making it real tough for anybody to want to try to even assist you with giving you somebody's phone number. You're not even letting me finish.
Well,
Good.
Let me finish, Casey.
First you're asking me for Tony's phone number so you can call him, and then you immediately want to start cussing towards me and saying don't even worry about coming up here for all this stuff and trying to cut us out.
I'm not trying to cut anybody out.
I'm not going around and around with you. You know, that's pretty pointless. I'm not going to not going to put everybody else through the same stuff that you've been putting the police and everybody else through for the last 24 hours and the stuff you've been putting Mom through for the last 4 or 5 weeks. I'm done with that. So you can tell me what's going on. Christina would love to talk to you because she thinks that you will tell her what's going on. Frankly, we're going to find out. Whatever's going on, is going to be found out. So why not do it now?
There's nothing to find out. There's absolutely nothing to find out, and that's even what I told the detective.
Well, you know, everything
I have
she's
no
telling them
clue where
is
Kaylee
a
is. If I knew where Kaylee was, do you think any of this would be happening? No.
Anyway, you only got a couple minutes with this, so I'm not going to let you completely waste it. Here's Christina. She thinks she can get through.
No, I want Tony's number. I'm not
Christina's
talking to anybody
Lee's
else.
girlfriend, by the way.
Hello?
Hi, I'm glad everybody's at my house. I'll have to call you later. I'll have to call somebody to get your number. Do me a favor, get my brother back because I need Tony's number.
Okay, is there anything I can do for you?
I'm sitting in jail. There's nothing anybody can do right now.
Well, I'm just trying to do.
Oh, I know you are, honey. I absolutely know that you are, and I appreciate everything that you're trying to do, but I'd like to call Tony. He's not at my house, is he?
No, no, it's just me and your parents and Lee.
Okay. Well, can you do me a favor and get my brother back or get the number from him, please?
Does Tony have anything to do with Kaylee?
No. Nothing.
Okay, so why do you want to talk to Tony?
Yeah, stop asking about it.
You probably don't want to tell me, do you?
Huh?
You probably don't want to tell me, do you?
What do you... I didn't hear what you said.
I said, does Tony have anything to do with Kaylee?
No, Tony had nothing to do with Kaylee.
Oh, so why do you want to talk to him? You probably don't want to tell me.
He's my boyfriend, and I want to actually try to sit and talk to him because I didn't get a chance to talk to him earlier because I got arrested on a fucking whim today because they're blaming me for stuff that I never would do, that I didn't do.
Okay. Well, I'm on your side. You know that, right?
Honey, I know that. I just want to talk to Tony, get a little bit of...
Casey, you have to tell me if you know anything about Kaylee.
Sweetheart,
if anything happens to Kaylee, Casey, I'll die. You understand? I'll die. If anything happens to that baby.
Oh my God. Calling you guys? A waste. Huge waste. Honey, I love you. You know I would not let anything happen to my daughter. If I knew where she was, this wouldn't be going on.
So how come everybody's saying you're lying?
Because nobody's fucking listening to anything that I'm saying. The media completely misconstrued everything that I said. The fucking detectives told them fucking bullshit. They got all of their information from me, yet at the same time, they're twisting stuff. They've already said they're going to pin this on me if they don't find Kaylee. They've already said that.
I'd like to pin something
They
on her.
arrested me because they said that...
Yeah, because they said that the person that you dropped Kaylee with doesn't even exist.
Because, oh, look, they can't find her in the Florida database. She's not just from Florida. If they would actually listen to anything that I would have said to them, they would have had their lead. They maybe could have tracked her down. They haven't listened to a fucking thing that I've said.
Do you know that whoever has Kaylee, an elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Can I ask what the purpose of showing this over a weeping middle-aged woman was?
That's Cindy.
Yeah.
They're trying to, can you explain what's going on after this? I don't know why they play the whole fucking thing. I played the whole thing because she's absolutely fucking crazy.
What, that was Cindy? That was Cindy Anthony?
Yeah.
I thought it was Dog the Bounty Hunter the whole time.
I thought it was Tan Mom.
Anyways, I just wanted to show you that's her hours after being arrested.
Just want to talk to my boyfriend. I didn't get to before I got arrested on a whim.
Yeah. Oh my God, calling you guys was such a waste. She's so crazy.
I just want to talk to him about what's going on in Gilmore Girls.
I love her passive aggressive, Southern charm, though. It's very cute and endearing, I might say.
Jeremy, how many times have you been stabbed by a woman?
Twice, but one was real deep on my inner thigh. Want to see it? Is my camera working?
He absolutely got stabbed by a woman.
Yeah, that is entirely unsurprising.
Yeah. Why did you ask that question?
Yeah.
And why is that true? Those two things are fucking amazing.
Because he's simping over Casey Anthony, who is BPD
Simping?
queen.
Simping?
She's exactly the type of woman I can hear him being in a relationship with someone like this and having it be that. You know how you hear people you have those friends who casually will talk about a fight that they got in and you're like, what the fuck? Because normally our couples argue and stuff, but these people are whipping Hot Pockets fresh out of the microwave at one another's faces at 2 a.m. drunk.
Oh, sounds like you don't like to live an exciting lifestyle, RJ.
My lifestyle is perfectly exciting, and it doesn't involve 3rd-degree microwave pizza burns or stabbing.
I like the way that she doesn't argue. She just moves past it with a passive-aggressive comment. I love that.
Yeah, that's called gaslighting, Jeremy.
Yeah.
She's really good at it.
Yeah.
She's unreal at it.
Yeah.
Okay,
She probably learned it from somewhere.
So last episode, I left you guys with a cliffhanger, telling you about the Casey Anthony family. Then we talked about Casey getting pregnant, not telling anyone. We talked about how all of her lies from high school, right into her adult years. She's lying about having a job, having a nanny. We ended the episode with all of Casey's lies coming to a head, and her daughter goes missing for 31 days. And then she takes police on a wild goose chase looking for her. Then the cops set up a controlled wild goose chase, followed by a police interview, which concludes with her getting arrested for child endangerment. And that's where that phone call comes from. Her only phone call she gets in jail, which is amazing. So the same day they arrest Casey in a random conference room at Universal Studios, police have a press conference about the missing girl. And then the story is national news almost instantly. And the story goes fucking wild. And it for sure is should. It's little girl goes missing for 31 days and the mom doesn't report anything to anyone. That's a crazy story. Early on, the opinion about Casey's involvement from the public was split. Some people hated Casey and thought she had something to do with it, women, and guys thought she was hot. So that's how that worked for the first little bit. Everyone was like, leave her alone. She's hot. She didn't do anything. She's hot. Jeremy's still doing it, which is fucking awesome.
And I mean, this isn't just a gender thing. We're doing it right now with Luigi, aren't we? Women love that guy.
Mangione?
Okay, but
men also love that guy.
No one is an argument of whether or not he did it. Whether or not it's forgivable, and the answer is a resounding yes.
There's a lot of people who say that the eyebrows don't match.
I mean, that's wild. Like, if anything, like, we should be getting behind the fact that he did do it and getting him off regardless.
Yep.
You want to get him off? I want to get Casey off. Yeah. We're the same. We're the same, you and I.
We're the same, because innocence is equal between a toddler and a 50-year-old CEO who denies people health care.
You don't know the toddler? Have you ever seen The Exorcist?
Yeah. That's true. I don't know the toddler. For all we know, Kaylee was telling people they couldn't have life-saving operations.
And I watched The Shining for the first time today.
Ooh. Really?
I have my theories.
About The Shining?
Yeah, The Shining is an awful lot like this Casey Anthony case.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you know there's a part where Jack Nicholson bursts through a fucking door with an axe?
Yeah, it's because there's going to be a scene where Jeremy is tricked into seeing a beautiful woman, but it turns out she's horrifying and evil.
And I do it anyways.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
All right, so
no, you don't understand. You have to make peace with them.
Yeah, the lesions are just signs of her devotion to me, dude.
It's just experience. What, do you got a problem with experience?
Yeah.
So most people, even though they hated her and thought she had something to do with it, no one really thought Casey was dead. They just thought she was missing somewhere. I bet you a lot of people did think it, but it was so split. It was all over the place. In jail, Casey calls her mom. That was what we heard. All she wants is a fucking Tony Lazzaro's phone number because nobody believes her anymore, and she's just trying to gaslight that guy. Like, that's what I think. She's just trying to call him so she'll be like, you know I didn't do this, right?
Yeah. Why does she not know her boyfriend's phone number?
That is wild.
It's all in her cell phone, and she just met this guy like 2 weeks or like a month and a half ago. Not even.
That's true. Well, I was just thinking of it because Italians are wildly unreliable and won't pay their phone bills. So maybe he just always had a new one.
He's working off burners.
I wasn't going to say he was a greasy Dago wop, but I was going to suggest that he might have a burner phone or two.
Oh,
could be.
That's possible.
That only Lee has. Anyways, it doesn't matter. She tries to get that. Cops listen to this, and they go, oh, she really wants to talk to Tony. Tony must have something to do with this. Let's go talk to Tony. So they go interview Tony right away. Tony tells the cops that he doesn't know where Kaylee's been for the past month. He hasn't seen her, but he has seen her in the past. Tells them about the spaghetti factory supper. And then police get some more details about their relationship. It was 3 weeks after Tony and Casey started dating when she brought Kaylee over at least 3 times a week. So she was doing the whole, like, I'm going to see Zanny the nanny, but bringing over to Tony's house. And like I said, Tony didn't really despise the girl, but he didn't want a girl. He already told her that. So yeah, that was it. He said, I don't know where she is. And he also found out that she was acting normal after Kaylee supposedly went missing. She was being just normal Casey. So that's weird.
Hey, it's me, Tony. All I know is that this kid likes to slurp down spaghetti.
Hey, give the kid some spaghetti.
Can you download my songs from SoundCloud? Okay, bye. The next thing that the police do is confiscate the Sunfire. The police say as soon as they go into the garage where the Sunfire is sitting, they smell the smell of decomposition. So they bring in 2 cadaver dogs to look at the thing.
They brought 2 dead dogs to sniff for a dead thing?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's fucked up.
That's how you find it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why when you're trying to find a pedophile, you get dogs that have molested puppies.
To find a pedophile, you
Yeah.
bring dead pedophiles. I get it.
Also true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, they weren't dog cadavers. They were cadaver dogs. One named Garrus. The other one was named Bones.
Important.
Garrus, like from Mass Effect?
Do you spell it Garrus?
Yes, you
So
do.
it's from Mass
Exactly
Effect,
like
then.
that. That's crazy.
And it's about the same time Mass Effect was popular too, 2008, right? Like that would have been
That's fucking insane.
What was the police captain's name? Captain Shepard? You know,
I'm gonna be I'm in connection with Mark Meir from Mass Effect.
Oh, cool. Ask
Like
him if
physical?
Garrus was named after the cadaver dog from the Casey Anthony case.
Okay, I will. Jeremy and I have also talked with. We've chatted with Vanessa Marshall. She was in all 3 Mass Effect games.
Oh, nice.
That's fun that you get to interview fun people. Usually when we interview people, it's someone that was molested as a kid and telling us about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people's definitions of fun are different.
I'm already on the show.
Garrus immediately signals at the trunk of the Sunfire. So they look inside. The trunk looks clean, like vacuumed out, cleaned right up. Bits of garbage, I guess, around there. They still find some evidence. There's a stain in the trunk, which investigators claim could be the size of a kid. I just find that fun. They go like, the stain was exactly the size of a child. You're like, okay, like it could be the size of a lot of things, though. I like how you just throw it's exactly the same size as a child.
My
Yeah.
dog does that all the time.
Leave stains the size of a small child, yeah.
All the time.
They just placed a child on the stain. I went, yep, just like I thought.
Stephanie, get in the trunk.
Bunch of different age kids too. Like, not a 3-year-old. Timmy, you go get the 2-year-old. Bring her here.
Get out of here, Timmy.
Yeah. They cut out a piece of that carpet in the trunk for testing. Human hairs were also found and set out for testing. And I say human hairs, I lie. It's human hair, a singular human hair. There were dog hairs. There was 1 human hair. The other cadaver dog, Bones, actually signaled in the backyard, same way Garrus did.
I'm sorry. We have Garrus and Bones?
Yeah, Bones is the other dog.
Was the other one Flesh?
Mike, you were going through our list of famous guests. We had Eddie McClintock, who was famously on the hit show Bones.
Yep, he was on
Oh.
Bones.
Cool.
Wow. There you go.
Will you ask him if the show was named after one of the cadavers? Casey Anthony case.
I like you, RJ.
I'll shoot him an
thanks,
email.
One of the weird things about these 2 dogs, they signaled whatever. The next day, they actually brought Bones back to do like supplemental testing, I guess, and to go smell again. He didn't signal anywhere anymore. So the second time, no signaling at all, even in the backyard where he did the first time, which is weird. But I don't trust dog scent evidence. We talked about this in the past episodes. I think that is dubious at best. It all depends on the owner and what they're signaling to. Like, there's too many variables for that to be actually accurate.
Yeah, it's fake.
I walk past dogs all the time at the airport, and I've got weed in my pocket. Silly little dogs.
There's virtually no science behind it. It's fucking ridiculous. Fire all dogs, dude.
Yeah, don't make them work. They didn't do anything. Just be their buddies.
You know what? Deport them. Get them out of here.
Yeah.
What are they doing for us anyways?
Nothing. They're leeches, man.
They're eating the squirrels.
Our precious squirrels.
American squirrels.
Next thing they do, investigators, they question George and Cindy about what happened that day. Cindy, in her interview, changes the story about dead body smell to rotten pizza smell. That's interesting.
She knows the difference.
She tells them, I did say dead body. Like I said dead body. You heard it on the 911 call, but that's just an expression. It smells like dead bodies in here. I say that all the time.
What? Okay. What red-blooded human American knows what rotten pizza smells like? Who lets pizza go bad?
Well, it's either
sure.
a dead child or a Hawaiian pizza. It's one or the other.
Oh, I guess if it
This
has
nose doesn't
meat,
lie.
yeah, you can have meat pizza. That
I don't
doesn't
know.
smell
That
too
meat's
good.
so processed, though. It
That's
just
true.
doesn't
That's true.
decompose.
Yeah.
Here's the actual kicker to that whole thing, what you guys just said. Cindy was a nurse. She probably already smelt human decomposition before, so she actually knew what that smelled like. You know what I mean? Versus what a pizza smells like. She probably didn't know.
Maybe she knows something we don't, and the two smell very similar. Like she walks into a Domino's and just gags immediately.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.
She's been around it so much that when
Yeah.
she smells it, she thinks gets hungry for lunchtime.
I don't tell many people this, but necrotic flesh and garlic seasoned crust.
You are what you eat. If you think about it.
Okay, so let's do another one here for fun. Here's Cindy getting interviewed.
Because listen, if your granddaughter walks through that
Here,
door,
I'm going to give you a little bit of a preface to this so you guys can understand why this is the last little bit of the interview. The whole time they're like, "Hey, tell us what happened. Tell us whatever you know." And she starts going off on all sorts of theories, what she thinks happens. She's blaming Jesse Grund. He's the only one who could have done it. She's talking to all sorts of people. They had enough. At the end of this, they're like, "Okay, Cindy, just stop. Like, tell us things that are going to help us and don't be oppositional to us." And they're at the point now where they're trying to explain to her, like, if you don't, like, just tell us everything that you know, because you went on the media. Apparently she went to the media and was like, "I think I know who did it, but I'm not going to say it publicly." And she's like, "You didn't tell us that. Who's this person?" Like, they're so mad at her.
We're not going to dispute that the car was dropped off on the 27th, because we've already talked there.
No, but I'm just
we already
saying,
talked there.
you know.
But listen, we can't dispute the smell with you. I can only tell you that in over 12 years I've been doing this. You know what I did before coming to missing persons, because that came out in the trial. Okay, I can only tell you what I have sensed before. I know you as a nurse, you've been to the morgue before.
I've smelled dead flesh. I've smelled dead bodies.
I'm not,
I've smelled burnt bodies.
And I'm not gonna. We're not gonna go back and forth with this. I'm just gonna know we're gonna agree to disagree with this. Okay, but what you also need to remember, there are different aspects of this that we need to pay attention to. We're focusing on finding Kaylee. I will not come to you and tell you anything but that unless I have definitive proof.
Are you looking for a live Kaylee or dead Kaylee, Gary?
We're looking for Kaylee, Cindy, because we don't know where Kaylee is. And listen, look at this from the outside. I know
So
it's
close
tough.
to her.
Okay, pretend this isn't your daughter. Pretend Casey is not your daughter. What would you think happened?
I don't know.
Pretend Casey's not your daughter. All the lies, all the inconsistencies, all the stories, all the evidence, all the facts, all the people that don't exist, what do you in your heart believe?
Not knowing Casey, I would...
Leading the witness.
Not knowing Casey and Casey's relationship with...
And it leaves you on a cliffhanger. Doesn't have the rest. You piece of shit.
He was leading the witness. That's messed up.
It's not a court of law. It's a fucking interview. I just want you guys to see the cops are super fed up at this point. I love it. I don't know why he's holding her hand like that. He gets real creepy. Like at the early part of the interview, he's like sitting far away, and then when he gets frustrated with her, and you could tell his motion to move to her wasn't to hold her hand and like try and calm her down. It was to like smack her and tell her you're fucking idiot. But he held himself back like a good police officer and didn't. Smack her.
He's like 15 centimeters away from her face.
And you hear when he's frustrated, he's like, listen. He does that so many times near the end. He's just like, okay, listen, stop. Like so many times just telling her to shut up.
Oh my God, it reminds me of my wife. Get out of here.
Got her. Take that, bitch.
Oh, so the car smells like dead bodies. So what? Get out of here. Go clean something.
There's a stain the size of my child. A child in the trunk.
Pull out the Clorox. Child-size stain.
When George is he's in the police station as well that day, but he says he wants to talk to the police by himself, like with the interview, not with Cindy, which I found super interesting because usually he just lets Cindy do all the talking. That interview does exist as well. The only thing that I found really interesting about his interview is that he says he has his doubts about his daughter. He actually kind of like tiptoes toward like, I think she might have had something to do with this. I don't know though. You never know, but like I don't because he was a cop before, so he knows. He's probably looking at it from that lens too. But they still both enable her. They're still both protecting her the entire interview. They're still both like, I don't know. I don't think so. Somebody else had to have done it, and they have a lot of that going on. It's their kid. I get it, but still.
It's their kid. They also might have done it.
Bitch, I left all this trash in my trunk for you to take out. Why did you take out the trash that was in my trunk?
The media's like full-blown breaking Casey through the coals right now. They're still supporting. They have a bunch of videos of them visiting in jail, like talking to her. So let's see a couple of these, because you're gonna really enjoy how I feel that our friend Casey is she's super nice to her parents. I like it.
I'll do whatever the hell.
God, she's so hot.
To get my family back together. That's it. That's all I want to do.
Where are you?
I will continue to tell things she's okay. I know in my heart, Mom. I know in my gut she's alright. I can feel it. Every day that gets stronger. And I still know that she's coming home. I can still feel that. That she's coming
bitch.
home. Casey, we have to find her before her 3rd birthday. Mom, That's coming up fast. I know, we have a couple weeks. I don't want to wait another minute.
I don't want to wait
another minute. I want...
Yeah. Where are you?
Whether I'm still stuck in here or not, I don't care. I think once she's found, then you can tell everybody what you know, and you'll be released. Don't you think? Potentially, I don't know. I have a lot of questions, and I'm going to ask you something that he told me. I guess there was a lady that came forward on the news. Her and her son were at the airport, said that they saw Kaylee, spoke to Kaylee. Right, and she said her name was Kaylee Marie Anthony. Do you have any more information on that? Yes. But again, the Sheriff's Department's telling us they're fully investigating that. Well, I want someone outside of the Sheriff's Department looking into these things. I mean, I want Lee to look into stuff. I want you guys to look into stuff. I want Jose to look into stuff. I don't We're trying to request those videotapes from the Orlando airport.
Ooh, good luck.
Okay. I was with Jose today when he requested that. Okay. Have you spoken to her yourself? Oh, she contacted me. She calls me every day, 3 or 4 times a day.
Ooh, humble brag.
Good. Well, that's what I wanted to know. I don't want just one person running errands for me, someone that I have no contact with.
Why does Cindy look like Toadstool?
Her dad's playing the game.
It's flock of seagulls.
Okay, this is another clip from this same interview that, oh my God.
Okay, no, she's right here. She's pulling at the phone. Hold on.
Alright. Hi, sweetie. Hi, Mom. We're not doing well, Case.
What's up, Mom?
None of us. Lee's been
Hey, girl, hey.
Dad's blown up at the media. Yeah, I heard. Well, someone just said that Kaylee was dead this morning, that she drowned in the pool. That's the newest story out there. Surprise, surprise. We need to have something to go on. Mom, I don't have anything. I'm sorry. I've been here a month. I've been here a month today. Do you understand how I feel? Hold on, sweetheart. Settle down, baby. Nobody's letting me speak. You want me to talk? Then, all right. I'll listen to you.
Shut up, bitch!
To see something. Sweetheart. I'm not in control over any of this because I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know what's going on. My entire life has been taken from me. Everything has been taken from me. You don't understand. Everybody wants me to have answers. I don't have any answers because I don't know what's going on. I have no one to talk to except Jose when he comes. It's the only person that I can talk to right now because I can't even say anything to you guys besides telling you that I love you. I want Kaylee. Things like that. And that's not even getting put on the air, which it should be. It's everything else, everything that I'm not saying. Again, that's all I could do was backtrack. I can't backtrack on anything. A month I've been removed from the situation. You guys are not understanding my side on this, and I'm sorry.
Do you know how much it sucks being in prison, Mom? I'm in fucking prison. I know Kaylee's missing, but I am in prison. Surprise, surprise.
She's innocent. You can see she was crying. She's talking to her parents. She's crying. Obviously, that means innocence, right? We all know tears.
Absolutely not.
Mean innocence.
She's making herself a victim throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, she's
what,
such a
just
bitch.
because her face isn't wet?
Jeremy, her mom said Yeah, the story is now that your daughter fucking drowned in a pool, and she said, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Such a fucking fucked up comment.
Little bitch is always trying to swim in that pool. Serves her right.
Like, here's the thing. Like, she lacks so much empathy. Like, even if her daughter was alive, she would still be mad at her for not appearing soon enough to get her out of prison.
Yep.
She doesn't belong there. Not her fault.
Police are still investigating, so they also find someone named Zenaida Gonzalez. I told you that they did find someone, but I didn't really get into it too much. She's just some random lady. Zenaida, the police found, was 37, much older than the 25-year-old that was her friend that she said. They went to interview her, saying, "Hey, where's this child you kidnapped?" She denies knowing anyone, not Casey or anyone who knew Casey. Police confirmed that story within a couple hours, and she's definitely let go and left alone after that. Took her off the suspect list. Casey's sticking to the story that Zenaida stole the kid. Then police released the 911 calls to the media.
Wait, doesn't she sue for defamation?
Yeah, like in 2018, like later on.
Well, let's add that.
Yeah, she sued for defamation and she lost.
Yep.
One thing I love about Florida is their sunshine laws. They release everything from investigations. It's fucking amazing.
God bless.
If you wanted to cover the murder of our cousin last year, you could easily do so.
Oh, good. Could look up that case. Is it like by any way a mystery?
No, the guy got sentenced and he deserves to rot in prison for the rest of his life.
So everything gets released to media while they're being investigated, which keeps everything above board in Florida. I find it's kind of a good thing. Makes a lot of interesting cases for true crime podcasts in Florida, which is cool. So after those 911 calls are released, public starts to really get behind Casey is the murderer of a little girl, and they start going crazy. The media starts reporting the shit out of this. Cops already know because they heard all the lies before, but now the media's right into it. And it's a frenzy. Public hates her. Everyone, even the guys that thought her hot, still hate her, but still think she's hot. She starts being called America's most hated mom and then most hated person.
Well, that's not fair. She's not a mom anymore.
Right. I mean, that's completely out of bounds.
Yeah.
There's way
Please
worse moms out there.
Accept her autonomy. Richard.
Yeah.
That's true. My bad. So I didn't make it up. Casey figures out she needs a lawyer, which in that clip, we already heard of her lawyer's name. I guess that clip happened after she got the lawyer, but Casey's parents hire a guy named Jose Baez after Casey gets a recommendation from an inmate. She's like, I need a lawyer. And the inmate's like, hire Jose Baez. He's the best. I fucking love that.
He really helped me out with my immigration status. I'm sure he can get you out of this too.
So Baez, he reluctantly, actually, I shouldn't say reluctantly. I read his book, Presumed Guilty, just because I wanted to hear their side of the whole thing. And he wanted all over it because he knew it was going to be a big case. And he took a $5,000, I think, as a retainer and I think that's most of what he got right off the bat just to be her lawyer. And the first thing he does is he runs to the jail where she's being held, tells her to stop talking to everyone, especially your parents, phone calls, everything. Stop talking. It's not helping anyone. And believe it or not, she follows this advice. You don't really hear much after those phone calls to his parents from Casey's mouth, specifically after this.
Her sweet, sweet, beautiful.
He officially becomes her lawyer on July 17th, 2008.
That's even crazier to me because she looks like her breath smells like eggs.
No, she's not hot, but she is, though. Depends on what drugs you're on. I'm doing it. She is, but she isn't, RJ. She is, but she isn't.
So Casey, Jose Baez sits her down in her jail cell, like in one of those interview rooms that nobody's can listen, and he's like, hey, I'm your lawyer now. Fucking tell me the story. Tell me the real fucking story. And this is from his book. This is what he says. Okay, she's like, fine, I'll tell you everything. Tell me everything. Okay, I want to know. I won't. Lawyer confidentiality going on right now. So she sits him down.
Until I publish it in my book.
Later, after the case. After the case.
Wait,
so I murdered my child, and now I've been telling all of these lies to save myself from being arrested and tried for her murder.
That's what she should have said. What she says is this.
Jake Tapper before Jake Tapper.
She says, when Kaylee was born, I needed a babysitter. And I found one. Her name is Zanny the nanny. And Zanny has the baby. So she fucking even tells Jose Baez, the Zanny story, but she expands it more. She says that I've had instructions from Zanny. There's another inmate in here that mouthed the words timer 55 to me, and Zanny told me that if I hear timer 55, what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to go on all my social media accounts, MySpace, and I think it was just MySpace back then, change my password to timer 55, and then that's how she's communicating with me. She goes into my thing, writes me a message, I go check the message, then she erases it off my thing so nobody can trace it. And this is the way I've been communicating with Zenaida, and an inmate did it to me. That means I have 55 days before she's going to find her. I'm going to find her again, Kaylee. So change everything to 55, timer 55. So Baez looks at her and he goes, this chick's got to be fucking nuts. Like, he thinks in his head, like, this chick is either have some sort of mental disorder or she's completely delusional. Like, whatever it is.
She's either crazy or she's crazy.
Extra crazy, yeah. Like, that's... or she's just lying about everything. Like, so he's like, why would someone be that cornered? I gave her, like, an open pass to say whatever. So there must be something else. She'll warm up to me, I think. No one believes Zanny, he tells her, okay? He says, this must be another lie to cover for the Zanny. Like, you must have making Zanny up to cover up another lie. What's the other lie? And she doesn't want to say anything yet. So on July 22nd, 2008, Casey has her first bond hearing. Judge gives Casey a $500,000 bail on child endangerment charges because there's no murder charges yet. Prosecutors can't charge her for murder. There's no body. There's a baby missing and she didn't report it. So $500,000 for child endangerment, according to Baez, is like a crazy amount of bail. So he goes in there expecting $10,000 bail, gets $500,000. I think it's the judge thinks she did it. Everybody thinks she did it. So you just want to keep her in jail as long as they can. She's stuck. Like, nobody can pay for that. So Casey spends about a month in jail trying to get bail. And with all this media attention, on August 21st, 2008, someone decides to help her out with the bail. A bounty hunter named Leonard Padilla.
Is that the guy in the sex tape?
Nope. It is
Mike,
not.
did I ever tell you about my time as a bounty hunter in the early 2000s?
In the early 2000s, you were 8.
Yep. She's that hot, Mike.
This is from, I'll tell you what it's from after, but the first words on this is, on this video I'm about to show you guys, people can't see this. There is no hunting like the hunting of man, and those who have hunted armed men long enough and liked it never care for anything else thereafter.
What?
Spoken like a true gladiator.
It's Ernest Hemingway.
Is that Marcus Aurelius? Who said that?
This is a music video?
I'm Leonard Padilla, the world-famous bounty hunter. I have
No.
over 4,000 arrests to my credit. If your file ends up on my desk, you're as good as in jail.
Fuck that. No way. No. This guy sucks.
This guy's the worst.
God bless
We haven't even
Florida.
started yet.
Yeah.
I like to pin him underneath my
They
beer
call
gut.
me the secret band. We're not pausing this. Are you kidding me? I'm right in
No,
Absolutely
I wish
you
this
are.
guy
I
was
can't-
my
no.
dad.
No.
You have to.
Fuck
Just wait.
that.
Just wait. I promise it's worth it.
This guy's living his best life, bro.
Kevin.
Richard, you don't have the rights to play this song.
I'm gonna have to
cut
cut the song out. It's gonna happen. Don't worry. But it's our true.
It was the
Yeah.
I can't play this either.
Oh,
but that's
hell
okay.
yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
Very
It's
much
okay.
not this.
This is worth.
I wish my
worth it.
camera was working. I'm crip walking right now.
This is fucking crazy. No. I'm so upset right now. No.
Ugh.
I love this guy.
Oh my god.
Dude, stop it. No.
No,
We're
we
done
have
with
to
this.
see the
We
guy. We
be
have to
done
see
with
the
it.
one
Hell
guy.
yeah, dude.
This man has never hunted
Here.
a bounty in his life.
Mike, you don't understand. The
Leonard
music
gets
makes
old
him
and
sound
He's got a
so
gold
cool.
revolver. What are you talking
No,
about?
this motherfucker plays like
As one of
Skyrim.
only
Look
a
at him.
handful of full-time
No,
What's wrong with
hunters,
this
Skyrim?
is a this
Leonard
is a
gets on with the
guy.
most difficult and most
No.
dangerous
There
cases
you go. This is what I want to show you.
because he
Yeah.
is in such high demand.
I
He
see a
has
bunch of
assembled an
other
all-star
people
team of
running
bounty
into
hunters
rooms
to
and doing
assist him in
stuff.
this
I don't
hazardous
see
line of
Leonard
work.
doing shit.
Leonard's
I'm
got
Rob
it all
Dick.
figured
I'm
out.
a bounty
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Robert Dick.
Oh,
an
Bobby
instructor
Dick.
in many of the items that bounty hunters use, weapons,
Hell
tasers,
yeah, dude. This
batons.
got
It's real
rules.
handy in that
Oh my
area.
God.
It's very.
I'm done.
Whoa! Did you see what his shirt is?
Yeah, what is it? I didn't see it. Oh, what was it?
I think it was that one of the Celtic crosses?
What's wrong with that?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a fucking super racist shirt. Good job.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Jesus
anyways, I was out there and this little kid popped out of a trunk. I took care of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen, no, there's nothing fucking that was an entire cast full of dudes who would get sweaty and start shaking when a black kid walks by their car.
You're not wrong.
There's nothing tough about any single one of them.
Not at all.
Did you see their mustaches, RJ? Did you see the mustaches?
I did. They're all hiding hair lips.
Oh my God. I wish they were my dad's. I wish I was raised by them.
Me too, because then I'd have a chance to overpower my father.
Richard, save this, please. Continue.
Bail is usually you have to usually pay 10% of it. So Padilla's putting up $50,000, and he's not doing this out of the goodness of his heart. He's using this money as an investment of sorts. He wanted to make it an angle for a reality TV show. He literally tells Jose Baez that he wanted to be the next Dog the Bounty Hunter, which is a weird aspiration, but God, I love it. It's fucking funny. The only stipulation he had of putting this $50,000 up at first, he's like, because Baez like, you're not getting a fucking reality, you're not recording everything. He's like, okay. Just maybe later? And he's like, yeah, okay, whatever, maybe later. The only stipulation I have, though, is I have to keep someone in the house at all times because $50,000 is a lot of money. If she runs, I'm going to lose that money. So Padilla sends one of his lackeys there to live in the house. What's her name? So Casey gets an ankle braces, bounty hunter, and sent back to her parents' house. When the public sees that she's allowed to go home, protesters are at the Anthony house property. I'll show you what the protesters were like. It's pretty awesome, too.
It's probably annoying. Annoying as protesters.
Oh, Jeremy, they all look like you.
Yeah, I think that one has a knife sticking out of his leg.
Oh, there's a silver tooth.
It's a lot of wife beaters and shirtless guys.
This is just protesters. This is outside their house. Protesters just fighting.
That is so Florida. It's nuts.
This one is.
Why are you sitting there protecting her? I'm
Oh, it's like a little time capsule.
Why are you sitting there protecting her? I'm not sitting protecting
Protesters. Cindy's outside yelling at them.
Okay, that may be her home, but she killed her baby, and you know it.
It's Halloween. We just want to give our kids candy.
She didn't kill her kid. I did, silly protester.
You call her one more time.
She looked like she's gonna go fight this one.
Cindy, what are you gonna do? Oh my God. What are you gonna do?
There's a baby crying in the background, just so everybody knows. And my favorite one is George Anthony pulls out a hose and starts spraying them.
Nice.
Somebody call Casey to shut that baby up.
Somebody call Casey. There's a hose getting shot at someone's shirt.
We got all that.
Anyways, protesters. Later on, Cindy and George say that was the worst part about the whole case is the protesters being outside their house, not their daughter getting arrested.
Yeah.
Not their granddaughter being found dead, but the protesters on their lawn.
I had to waste water.
So according to the bounty hunter girl watching Casey, Tracy Conway was her name, Casey kind of loved it. She loved all the attention she was getting from it, which is fucking weird as well. She said she saw some weird shit from Casey at the house. She had like zero empathy at all. She was like bitching at her mom for like supper and stuff like that. It was fucking weird. And then at one point, Tracy says she hears Casey crying from her room, and Tracy was pumped. She's like, finally, she's showing some sort of emotion over this entire thing. So she goes into the room to check on her, maybe thinking like maybe this is a future soundbite for the TV show. You know what I mean? Instead, she finds Casey on Facebook, loving all the guys who were hitting up her DMs. She wasn't crying. She was giggling. And not even being discreet about it. She's like looking at Tracy, being like, Tracy, what do you think of this guy? He's a hottie, eh? And like, hee. Fucking crazy.
Well, hear me out, Richard.
Yeah.
Hear me out. All right.
I'm hearing you out.
In the animal kingdom, when a male dolphin comes across a female dolphin and she's got babies, they'll kill those babies and put that dolphin back in heat. Who are you to say that we're not the same as dolphins, Richard?
A dry human with legs.
She's missing a child. She needs another one.
So this is what Michael was trying to talk about last week. So only 8 days after her release, Casey's arrested again, this time for forging checks and identity theft. So Tracy had to go home, which was fat, and her bond was revoked. She's put back in jail. During these 8 days, the police must have found out about the Amy Huizinga checks, and the cops really wanted to keep her in jail. So they couldn't really charge her for murder yet. So they said, get her in for fucking check forging. Padilla didn't want to put up the 50K again or whatever that bond. They had to wait around for another bond hearing. So that he kind of disappears from this. But fuck, that's funny that this guy tried to get a Casey Anthony miniseries out of this.
Damn it, my VH1 money.
Texas EquiSearch, which is like a Texas-based search company. They search for a lot of missing people all across the United States. They come to help searching for Casey in August. So they come about 2 months after Kaylee goes missing. EquiSearch is a volunteer organization who steps in to help searches for people in situations just like this. They got 4,200 volunteers out scouring the Anthony neighborhood and beyond. Cindy and George make t-shirts. It's a crazy search. They find nothing. They search for weeks.
Did they just make the t-shirts or did they sell the t-shirts?
Good question. I don't know. I'm assuming they just made them, but who the fuck knows? Yeah, not long after her rearrest, the results from the rug and hair come back. Forensic anthropologist Dr. Arpad Voss was sent the carpet samples for analysis. Voss's life work was studying the smell of decomposition. Yeah.
It's his life's ambition.
Yeah, he worked at the Body Farm in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is like a famous place where scientists do studies on decomposition, like dead bodies and stuff.
It's a human hound dog.
Yeah, exactly. Voss was studying so much, he had this new technique of testing the odors and finding out if it was coming from a decomposing corpse. Regular decomposition and decomposition under different situations is what he studied. So like they would take a body at this body farm place and bury it like 2 feet underground, and he'd take a bunch of readings. Then they bury a different body 6 feet underground, take readings. It's like super creepy profession, but like smart dude. Yeah, so all this work that he did is published and peer reviewed in the Journal of Forensic Studies. So like a legit scientist, doctor guy. It's not like he's just some random guy making this shit up. Well, Voss takes the sample of the carpet, puts it into the way they do it, they put it in a paint can just to collect the smell so it all stays in one spot and heightens the smell, whatever's in the trunk. After Voss did all his tests, he conducted that the smell in the trunk must have been from a decomposing body. I hate how decomposition and decomposing have like different fucking ways of saying it, but it's the same word. Voss testifies all this to trial, whatever. This is the first time Voss's technique would be entered into a court of law, though. So it was like a new science because he's been working on it for so long, but it's peer reviewed. It's been in fucking medical journals. It's not like this new thing. But lawyer Jose Baez at trial just says that it's not something we use in court. It's not real. You know what I mean? This is fantasy forensics. You made this shit up. This is what he starts making up this term fantasy forensics for all the experts that come on the stand for anything that hasn't been proven in court before. Not real.
Fake news.
Yeah. So that's Baez's tactic during trial the entire time. Everything's not real. So Baez found out that what's happening here is that Voss has a new patent. It's for like a metal detector that you walk around and it finds like the smells of decomposing bodies.
It's just a big stick with a nose at the end of it.
Basically, yeah, that's what this guy's trying to prove out. So if he can prove that this works in court, he can start selling these things to fucking places all over the world. So that's what Baez like kills him with. He's like, oh, this isn't about science. This is about money, you greedy bastard.
He gets on Shark Tank. Now hear me out.
Yeah. Mark Cuban, I just got to kill you for a second here.
We can change the game right here and now.
Hey, sharks, here's my flower bed. Underneath 2 feet down is a dead body. Can you sniff it? Neither can I.
The Sniffmaster 5000 can, though. Just pulls it out.
You mean Bones?
Yeah, Bones. Garrissy Bones. So yeah, Baez just says, fantasy forensic, this is brand new. He's just trying to make money. Then he gets his own expert to come in and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like this guy from Florida International University, Ken Furton. Ken Furton's like, I'm actually a chemist. I'm not a fucking biologist like this guy. And nobody actually has a concise image of what the smells from decomposition are. This is all made up. You made this shit up. Bias does a really good job of like making all the facts look stupid. This being one of them. Another thing police weren't expecting from the carpet samples is that Voss says that there is traces of chloroform in the trunk. And he says it's an unusually large amount of chloroform. Chloroform is found in nature, but Voss claims that the amounts in the trunk were more than you would find anywhere natural. Voss also says that in trial. Defense also attacks that at trial. He says that he gets his own expert to say that chloroform is in many household products. The amount in the trunk could just be from cleaning supplies, which if she killed someone, she probably cleaned someone in the trunk. So you're probably not wrong. It probably wasn't from killing.
The chloroform wasn't from killing. It was for cleaning up after cleaning. It's a difference.
Exactly. The hair that they found was sent to the FBI for DNA testing. The mitochondrial DNA showed that the hair could only be from either Cindy, Casey, or Kaylee. And due to the length of the hair and the fact that the hair was untreated meant that it could have only been Kaylee's hair. So it was Kaylee's hair in the trunk.
Women's hair end up everywhere. I mean, it doesn't matter. I have a daughter. Her hair is everywhere. It doesn't matter what I own or where I am. Her hair is all over the place.
That's Baez's argument too. Why would there only be one hair? There should be 1,000 hairs in that trunk. Why is there only one? This seems like it got brought over by someone at some point. She was never in the trunk. It just got dropped in there from like a sleeve. But then the police or the FBI says, well, there's also a band around the bottom of the hair, sometimes known as a decomposition band or a post-mortem death band. These bands are usually found on hair of a dead body, meaning that this hair had to have come from a dead body. This was also testified to at trial, which Baez attacks with another expert saying that post-mortem death bands aren't studied enough. We don't have enough information overall. This could have been found from a dead body, but it also could have been sitting out in the sun for too long, or if they were hit with chemicals. Then the death bands sometimes appear with that as well. Not enough studies.
Are you talking about a band from Switzerland? Like death metal?
Like a band like some... Post-mortem death band. That's actually a good band name.
Postmortem, I think, is a metal band.
Postmortem death band.
I think Postmortem is a death metal band.
Yeah, that would be like saying, naming your band Led Zeppelin Classic Rock Band.
All this evidence, regardless of what Baez says, they haven't said anything yet. It hasn't happened at trial, but they have all this evidence saying like, oh, there's fucking the hair, the chloroform, decomposition of the trunk. Prosecution decides it's enough evidence to charge Casey with murder. So on October 14th, 2008, a grand jury is convened. Casey is voted in favor to be charged with 7 different charges. First-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, aggravated manslaughter of a child, and the last 4 are all about providing false information to the police. They still haven't found Kaylee's body yet, but they said, fuck it, let's go for it. Casey sells a picture of Kaylee to ABC News for $200,000 to help pay for her defense right after that. And then nothing really, it kind of dirtles around a little bit until a grim discovery happens on December 11th.
Well, just because you're in the throes of legal troubles, Mike, doesn't mean
Shut
you
up,
can't
Jeremy. Shut up.
entertain your capitalist entrepreneurship.
Could you imagine selling a picture of your own child that you supposedly didn't murder?
Yes, I just did as soon as you said it. It seems nice.
Nope.
It's fucking crazy. So then a grim discovery happens on December 11th, 2008. An Orlando meter reader named Roy Kronk finds a skull in a small wooded area near the Anthony house. He was stopping in the wooded area to take a piss, and he pissed in this area often. So back on August 11th, when he pissed there the first time, he saw the same garbage bag out there in the bushes and knew that the search for Kaylee was going on, and he called the tip line. The next day, Kronk calls the sheriff's department directly. 2 officers come to meet him out there. The officers are told by Kronk that he thinks that he saw the bag out there with a skull in it. Cops take a quick look, find nothing. Then he calls again for a 3rd day in a row. No one finds anything on that trip, and the police get mad at Kronk for wasting their time. Here's Roy Kronk's calls.
Oh, I think I saw a skull or something. Maybe.
Isn't that a skull? I think that's a skull out there.
911, what's your emergency?
Hi, I don't have it. I called the non-emergency line. Somehow
How can I help you, sir?
I'm a meter reader with Orange County, and I had the route today that included the Anthony's home. Okay, and I went down to the school and came back, and when I was coming back, I stopped between the two swamp areas there. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about or not.
No, but go ahead.
But there's a stretch of road there that goes from like where the start of their road is down to a school, and in between it on either side there's a swamp. And if you're heading back out towards the main road on the left-hand side, in an area, I noticed something that looked white, and there was, I don't know what it is. I'm not telling you it's, it's Kaylee or anything of that nature. But I just don't,
Do you know what street Anthony Home is on?
Yeah, it's on Good Hope, isn't it?
Okay, Good Homes, and what's the nearest intersecting street?
It's the one it comes off of, isn't that? It's like Suburban or something like that?
Hold on, I just want to bring up the map. Hold on.
Because I just read that.
Anyways, I just want to show you that he called 3 times. And gave lots of detail, like not even just a little bit of detail. He was like, it's between this road and this road on the left-hand side. I'm not telling you what it is, but it's probably Kaylee. He said Kaylee. He said a bunch of stuff. Nobody really finds it or follows up with this guy for...
That's insanity.
It's fucking crazy. December 11th, Kronk goes out there again for a piss, but this time the garbage bag had been torn open by probably animals. He saw something that kind of looked like a skull. He had his big meter reader tool with him, and he poked at the bag he saw. There was a skull in the bag. He poked the eye socket and picked up the skull with his tool.
Oh, God.
It fell, freaked him out, and then he called the police. Here's the call from December 11th.
What, once gravity takes hold of the skull, it spooks him?
Yeah, why did it freak him out at the end?
For me, it'd be like, is that a real skull? That's not a skull. Maybe it's a skull. Now I'll poke it with the stick. Oh, fuck, it's a skull! Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have that whole... I could be wrong, but that's just the way I kind of...
That's kind of Florida shit. That is kind of Florida shit. What the hell is this? Oh, God.
This is Orange County Utilities Emergency Dispatch. We found a human skull. Oh, my gosh. I know. We got
I know.
meter reader. I'm going to just speak right now with the representative from our field services. This is Benny with Orange County Utilities. Hey, Benny. Hi. I'm going to let you speak with Rusty Spare, and
I
recorded. Here he is.
fucking love Florida. It's the best thing.
How are you doing?
Hey, Rusty. Hey.
One of my meter readers supposedly has found a skull of a, if he believes it's human.
What's the location, please?
It's right off of Suburban and Chickasaw in the Kelly Anthony area, right by the...
Oh. Do you have a specific address for me or not?
No, it's right by the school. If you take it,
you are.
Yeah, he's
Suburban and Goldenwood?
Well, Suburban and Chickasaw.
Chickasaw, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the school is right there. I can't think of the name of the school. Just go right straight down. It dead ends right into the woods.
Okay.
It'll be on the east side of Chickasaw, Suburban.
East side of Chickasaw. And what is your party's name that we're going to meet with?
His name's Roy, R-O-Y, Kronk.
Anyways, that's fine. We don't need to watch the rest of that.
Hey, me and my buddy Roy, we found this skull.
That was his partner that was working with him that day. Problem with Kronk is Baez makes him look bad in trial. Baez says that Kronk, when he found the body the first time, kept note of that, okay, in his mind. Then when a reward started to be offered, he moved the body, staged it so that he could get the reward. Why would he do this? Baez has a theory. He says that Kronk's car broke down, and it was going to cost him $1,000. His car broke down on December 9th, 2 days before he made the call. Maybe it was the day before. I can't remember exactly, but this was supported by how Kronk bragged to some of his coworkers about finding the dead body, and he was hitting the lottery, and he told people not to tell his ex-wife. She's going to want some of that reward money. She's so far behind on alimony. Kronk's estranged son also said that his dad called him one day in November and asked him or told him that he was going to be famous. And Kronk, on the stand, Kronk admits to moving the skull when he poked it with his stick. But by the way,
his dick?
With a stick. He had a big meter stick.
I was so terrified of it, I had to touch it with my stick.
Baez made it sound like he picked it up over his head and like kind of chucked it on the ground like 4 feet in the air. Kronk just said he touched it. Either way, if you find a skull in the bush, let's just not touch it, everyone. Let's do that. Right? Is that what we do? I don't think I would touch it. I think I'd be too fucking freaked out, but I don't know if I'd be like
it depends on it depends on the skull, right? If it's obviously human.
But they're also looking for a little girl, and you know that.
Yeah, I can only imagine hey guys, let's make it serious for a second. All kidding aside, if I was to walk up on a skull and it was a human skull, I'd be terrified. That's a terrifying thing.
For sure.
To open up the door and to even kind of smell the smell and to even see something that size, it would freak you out to
For
your
sure.
soul.
For sure. And
Oh my God.
you'd never forget that. Like it'd always be stuck in you for like, you know what I mean? It would be, anyways. So Baez says if he touched the skull, what else did he touch? You know what I mean?
Hell
This
yeah.
whole crime scene is contaminated. We can't trust any evidence that comes from any of this crime scene at all. So that's how he attacks that. So police show up at where Kronk is now with the remains in the bag. Police immediately say it's the remains of a small child. And when I say remains, I mean mostly bones. Animals in the Florida heat and humidity had gotten to the remains. There was no flesh left, or very little. It's very unclear to me when I was doing research. Everyone just said it was bones, but then they said there's like fleshy parts somewhere. So there's very little flesh left. All the photos released to the public were blurred out, thank God. But to determine what's left becomes confusing due to the differences in reporting many outlets. So whatever, it's bones. Not all the bones were found at once either. Over the next couple of days, they were putting them together like this girl's skeleton, like a little puzzle. Kaylee's remains were found less than a mile from the Anthony house, between the addresses of 4701 and 4709 Hope Spring Avenue. I already mentioned those in the episode before, remember? That's where people think that Casey made up Zenaida's name.
Remember?
Yeah, 4701, that was the lady named Zenaida, and 4709, that was the last name Gonzalez. So imagine she came up with a name to give a hint where Kaylee was. Like, I know Zenaida came like way before Kaylee went missing, but that would be so fucking creepy if she's like, you'll never find her. She's where Zenaida Gonzalez. She's with Zenaida Gonzalez, and it's between those two houses. It's super creepy.
Tom Holland is out here raising Zanny.
Crime scene investigators headed by Dr. Jan Garaviglia, or she goes by Dr. G. She had like a TV show for a while. I'm not getting into that. She was the chief medical examiner for Orange and Osceola County. She looked over the scene.
Osceola.
Osceola?
Osceola.
I don't live there. What do you want from me?
How dare you?
Yeah, and Dr. G used to teach us how to reach the G spot when we were children on the fuzzy channels.
So when CSI gets to the scene, they find a little skull popping out of the grass, leaf-covered ground. Under the leaves, there was a small canvas bag that it was sitting in. Over it was a pretty big fallen tree. Animals had scavenged the bones, so they were all over the place. What was left in the bag was a garbage bag, and whatever bones weren't disturbed were still wearing the same clothes Kaylee had been last wearing. And it was all wrapped in a little Winnie the Pooh blanket. She was found with duct tape on her mouth, or what is left of her decomposed head's mouth area. Like, it's one of the weird details from the case that are different depending on if you're on the prosecution side or the defense side. Prosecution keeps saying the tape's around her mouth, and the defense keeps saying the tape was near her mouth. And the
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Can I ask? Is the other difference between those two teams whether or not Casey Anthony brutally murdered her own daughter?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Also, that guy definitely picked up her skull and dropped it on the ground. So
For sure. So it probably could have just slipped off.
Fiddled with his eye. Fiddled with its eye.
So yeah, I don't really know which one's accurate, but it was a very specific type of duct tape, apparently, Hankel duct tape.
That was found in the garage.
That was also found in the garage. It was a brand later found in the Anthony house, actually in the shed beside the gas cans where Casey would frequently steal the gas from. Jose Baez, in his book, kept saying that it was wrapped around the bottom of her head. So whatever, I guess it's to minimize the probability of being around the mouth, but it just sounds bad for Casey anyway. The autopsy by Dr. G.
Yeah, wait. I'm sorry. What is the bottom of the head?
Like, because it's probably not tight anymore. There's no flesh, so it's just sitting there, like, and the neck's not there. Like, everything's all, so it's sitting, like, beneath the skull. But the guy, he's right. The guy picked it up. Exactly. It's around her fucking mouth. It's just they're trying to make it sound like it wasn't around her mouth. It was. You'll see why he says it.
I just don't know, like, why that is helpful to the case.
It's helpful to Baez's side of the case, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. I don't want to.
It makes it sound like no, it's all good. It's not around her mouth. It's under her chin.
It makes it sound like Casey was remorseful and tried to duct tape her head back to her body after she cut it off.
Jeremy, this is a Mummies of Venzone situation.
Yep, plug it. Timestamp.
Okay, so here's the autopsy. She claimed the only reason there would be duct tape around her mouth would be for murder purposes. So the only reason she was hidden because of murder, and that's why she would later declare the death of murder. So on December 17th, the remains of Kaylee are positively identified, and December 19th, Dr. G has a press conference confirming the body was Kaylee Anthony, and she declares the manner of death a homicide. And you can't know that for sure. I'm sorry, like this is one thing that I know with this case. I do believe that Casey killed someone, but you don't know that this is a murder. She could have accidentally died and you wouldn't know it because none of her fucking flesh was there. She could have just and hit it. Everyone could have done that. That could have happened. I'm just saying.
Yeah, duct tape is a super accidental thing.
No, but that sure.
You don't know if she duct taped herself. All the kids, it's all the rage in the early 2000s.
You mean the late aughts?
Yeah, the late aughts. It's duct tape time. You remember that?
You don't remember duct tape time? I remember duct tape time. And I would have been 20.
We were doing the Harlem Shake and then duct tape time.
Yeah, duct tape time.
Kid Cudi, duct tape time.
Okay, so after this, the media that takes this case to a new level. Like I said earlier, sunshine laws are amazing in Florida. All the information right away. So the media got like the interviews, the prison visits, they get everything. And the public eats all this shit up. And then for ratings, the news would start to theorize. And then the public would join. So many good theories pre-trial. Casey did it, her dad did it, her mom did it, fucking Jose Baez for some reason did it a long time before that. There's just a million
Jose Baez, the lawyer?
Yeah, that's what I mean. There's so many fucking retarded things people are saying. Jose Baez is also labeled as an inexperienced attorney by the media, which I think helps him in the end win this case. Because everyone's like, this guy's just dumb. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's never going to win this. And they underestimated him. But he's out there still going on every other show he can. Everybody else is saying that he's guilty. She's going out there being like, you don't know she's guilty. You don't know what the story's going to be. There's a story I'm going to bring out when the case comes. It'll make everything make sense. You know, Nancy Grace is cashing in on Kaylee's death more than anyone by fucking far. She's getting over 5 million views on her shows at 8 and 9 daily. 5 million views. Those are huge numbers. CNN and Fox are getting nearly the same numbers, but lower on the entire world's news. She's basically doing hour-long specials on Casey Anthony and getting more numbers than the news.
Oh my God, Nancy Grace killed Kaylee.
Yeah.
I remember Nancy Grace on the fucking news talking about this. It's just like the early days of Nancy Grace. She's like, and that bitch went out and murdered her little girl.
Yeah, taught killer, taught murderer.
Fake news.
And the public's getting this. They're getting this en masse. Like, all the Casey information is coming to everyone. So the investigators get a warrant for the Anthony house, and they find that Kaylee's room is Winnie the Pooh themed. The canvas bag they found her remains in is the same one as they found in the laundry room at the Anthony's. They were sold at Target, and they were sold in pairs. Only one was found at the house.
Oh my God, it's all coming together. It's a Chinese conspiracy. Laundry rooms, Winnie the Pooh. It's all coming together.
You're right. All the pieces of the crime scene were found at the Anthony house. Right after Kaylee is found, the prosecution goes to Casey with a plea deal. This is what Jose Baez says. He says, they say, if you tell us the real story, you'll get 13 years, but you have to tell us everything. She tells the prosecution that, fuck you, I didn't do anything, so I'll never admit to killing my daughter. So prosecution's like, fine. And they go the exact opposite way, and they say they're going to go for the death penalty with Casey. Fuck you. We're going for death penalty for you. This is a death penalty case now.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
Yes and no. And this actually makes the case extra hard to prosecute, especially for a jury. When they go for a death penalty case, the jury has way more responsibility. They have to, like, someone's lives in their hands.
Yes.
So it's a lot harder for someone to put someone into a death situation, just Joe Blow person. So this makes it extra hard for the prosecution to win this case.
Yes, smart move, Casey. Smart move.
On January 22nd, 2009, George Anthony tries to kill himself.
Good.
He disappears. He disappears to a hotel some distance away in Daytona Beach.
Ew, that's where his kind belongs. Look it up. It's
I was just
Florida
there.
history. Don't admit that, Mike.
George says he couldn't function anymore without Kaylee, and he just needed to die. So he found himself a sleazy motel, buys a bunch of beer, and takes over 70 pills.
Yeah, he couldn't function anymore, or it couldn't function anymore. Let's dive into it, Dick.
70 sugar pills. I have diabetes. This should do it.
We all know his alleged history. Allegedly. Alleged.
We're like so close to actually getting there, but we've already said it a million times. So he gets a sleazy motel, buys a bunch of beer, takes over 70 pills. Then he writes a suicide note, 7 pages long. I'm not going to read it.
What a poet.
Good thing George sent a bunch of texts that night saying like goodbye to everyone. So the police actually found him and like arrested him and put him under suicide watch.
Sorry, Richard. Do you know what the suicide note said?
What did it say?
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Continue.
This continues the back and forth between the media and all this over 3 years before it goes to trial. Over those 3 years, Casey's reputation as being the most hated woman in America heightens. Everyone knows Casey. Everyone always has her as guilty. Case is so publicized that when the trial was going on, there were people fighting outside to get in, like literal fistfights. I don't have to show you a clip of that, but just trust me, people are like, did you squeeze in line here? And they just fucking fight to get in to watch the case. Jose Baez sees this and he asks for a change of venue so he can get a fair trial. Everyone in Florida knows who this is. We need to move somewhere else. Judge grants their request, kind of. But instead of moving the trial out of Orange County, he just gets a jury from another county, and he brings in a jury from Clearwater, Florida. This is where your Clearwater keeps coming up.
Oh, damn. I hope it was Polk County. They would have figured it all out.
It's pronounced Clearwater, okay?
Sorry, my fault. I don't live there. It's not like the people from Clearwater didn't know anything going on in the news. Clearwater's still getting all the same news as Orlando is, but that's better, I guess, in the way, as far as fairness is concerned, I guess. And they did get a jury and went to trial on May 24th, 2011 at the Orange County Courthouse with George Melvin Perry presiding. Here's where some of the theories start to come out in trial. So I'm just going to rip through theories at the same time as explaining this because I'm not going to stop for theories at the end on this one. We'll just give our own theories at the end. It's definitely a weird dingo. It always is a weird dingo. Prosecution's theory as to what happened to Kaylee. So let's just talk about how the case went for them first. So lead prosecutor Linda Burdick's opening statements are 2 hours long, and my God, are they boring. I watched them and I was fucking falling asleep. They made it look like Casey was having the time of her life after Kaylee died, which is true. And they kept bringing that up through the trial, showing all the pictures of her partying up, the ones I showed you last time. Tony Lazzaro and his roommate testified that during the time at her place, she kept asking and started to be curious about smoking weed. She was very much against the weed before, but as soon as Kaylee went missing, she started wanting to smoke pot and wants to party a lot now.
Nope, there it is. Nail in the coffin. You know, when they start smoking weed, they've committed.
It is a gateway drug to murder.
It
is a gateway drug to murder. I've heard that. I've seen the 50s movies, the 40s movies. It's true. So yeah, then they go through all the we've talked about a lot of the stuff they went through trial, and we might pick up a few more other things as we go. But like their closing argument was asking who benefits from the death of Kaylee. That's their whole thing. It's like, and then they show a picture of Casey's new Bella Vita tattoo, and we're all like, that's who. You know, they point to the Bella Vita tattoo. And that's how they ended. That was their closing arguments.
She didn't want to be a mom.
It's probably true. And there's lots of evidence against that if she murdered the little baby.
Mike, she wanted to be a mom, or did her mom, she was tired of being a mom to her grandchild? Her tired piece of shit partying daughter wasn't taking care of this little girl. And guess what? My husband might have fooled around with that little girl, and maybe she fooled around with my daughter as well. But I don't care. I'm a jealous old dog the bounty hunter looking lady.
Right. Listen to me, Jeremy. That means that it started with her not wanting to be a mom in the scenario that you just laid out. She didn't want to be a mom, meaning she didn't want the kid.
Yeah, she learned from it's generational. Mike.
Okay, well, here, I'll tell you in a little bit why I don't think Cindy did it at all, just for the fact she's working the whole time when she should have went missing. That's like the main one, and there's proof of that. Here's a list of stuff that makes Casey look like she did it. So the rare duct tape, the Henkel duct tape, the one they found in the garage. I will say a little bit extra about the duct tape. The prosecution claimed the duct tape was the murder weapon here. So the theory of how Kaylee died, according to the prosecution, was that Kaylee knocked out Kaylee with chloroform and then duct taped her mouth shut. A surefire way to suffocate someone, which was a search they found on Casey's computer. Surefire way to suffocate someone. And the Anthonys had the same type of duct tape in the shed. So obviously,
Well, Richard, Richard, you did bring up earlier, I believe in part one, if I'm not mistaken, or if this is my own research, the idea of that came from they used one search engine and then they found a bunch of evidence.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about, but yes, they did have that in the search engine. So Casey has access to this Henkel duct tape. That's beside the gas cans. Baez claims that the duct tape was junk science or fantasy forensics as well. He says that if it was wrapped around Casey's face as a murder weapon, it should have had fingerprints and DNA all over it. And it didn't have any DNA or fingerprints on it.
Gloves.
The FBI literally said it didn't matter if there was gloves or not. It was so long outside that there'd be no more fingerprints or DNA left on it. That didn't matter to Baez. He was like, whatever, fuck you, FBI, fantasy forensics. Baez calls this guy named Dr. Werner Spitz to testify about the duct tape evidence. Now, this Werner Spitz guy is a super famous pathologist, worked on like the JFK case back in the day and OJ. Like, he's worked on huge cases.
What is some kind of dinosaur bone doctor doing in these cases?
Yeah. He says since there's no DNA, that makes sense that the duct tape is not the weapon. Spitz says that her death cannot be classified as a murder. There's no way to figure out with the decomposition of the body if there was a murder.
Her body was stashed in a trash bag.
I'm with you.
I thought it was in a pizza.
What the fuck do you mean her death can't be ruled as a homicide?
I'll tell you why.
They ditched her fucking body in a trash bag.
I'll tell you why in a bit. I'll tell you Baez's theory in a bit. Cindy changes her story about the smell of the dead body while testifying as well.
Can I guess the theory?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Predatory trash bags.
Mimics.
You know what? It's been going on. No one talks about it.
It's Florida. It is Florida.
Yeah.
Then she leaves Kaylee in the trunk of her car for a few days before disposing her a quarter of a mile away. That's her whole thing. They kill her with duct tape, chloroform to the face, dispose her near the house, waiting to be found. That's the prosecution's case. Fucking slam dunk. Should have been slam dunk, in my opinion. Here's another theory, though. This is Jose Baez's theory.
Alien.
Let me preface this by in the book, Aliens is right. In the book, Presumed Guilty, he completely believes Casey. I just want you to, like, he is a true believer of Casey. Okay?
Who isn't?
Okay, I just want to put that out there. He knows she lies all the time. He even says it. He says, I know she lies all the time, but I know why. Okay?
Yes, it's a learned behavior. A child doesn't just grow up lying unless they're reinforced to lie.
Here's the story Casey tells Baez. After he sweet talks her a couple more times before she finally tells him the truth. This is the truth that he says she told her.
He was in the sex tape.
Hell yeah.
The story Baez thinks is true. So Casey convinced Baez that not only had her brother been molesting her as a kid, so had her father for years and years since she was 8 years old.
Ew.
Baez tells the story in this book about how Casey described her father telling her to jack him off, calling his dick Baldy. Play with Baldy until he pukes milk is a quote from the book.
I mean, I'm not an uncircumcised fella, but I'd imagine if I was, that would be a cute.
You would say play
him.
with Harry until he pukes milk.
Like, play with Mushmouth.
play with the Klansman.
Like this, you don't. Hey, Mike, and you know me. I love black women. That's my weakness. Pull down this hood. Pull down this hood and enjoy.
Like, expose me to the world. Okay.
Gross.
What a fucked up thing, like, to lie
It's
about?
magical, RJ. Hold on, Richard. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
RJ, it's magical. It's a magical moment.
I fucking hate magicians, so.
Well, you haven't fucked the right magicians, then.
You haven't fucked the right magicians.
No, magicians are the people. They're the only group that it's acceptable to plan a genocide for.
It's okay. I have a clown thing.
Oh, I have clowns too. They're the same. They're in the same group. Like they're under the same like live performer umbrella.
The worst is stand-up comics.
Stand-up comics are at the bottom of the list, but they're on it.
If we were all going to join arms, wouldn't it be against the mimes?
Oh yeah, fuck mimes.
Yeah, I mean, again, like
100%,
and that's underneath the clown branch of that. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's a lot of people that genocide would be okay for.
If I'm out on the streets and I see a mime even putting together a fucking see-through gun, I'm fucking them up. I don't give a fuck. You're done, mime.
I love that, Richard.
Let's pivot to how we all appreciate the genocide against mimes. RJ?
For sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All
Should be
for it.
eradicated.
Eradicate everyone. Even if someone who thought about being a mime in the past, you're done. Okay.
There's a mime listening to the podcast. Like,
Nobody can see.
I
Nobody
love the
can
listener
hear it,
can't even
but
tell what
RJ
you just
did.
did.
A great mime. Actually, RJ embodied a mime in order to make the joke, which kind of makes him a mime.
Which also makes us have to kill RJ.
No,
You're dead, buddy.
Fuck. All right.
But it also made me realize
I'll go get the gun.
Mimes are incapable of calling other mimes to action, and I feel safe now.
Yes.
True.
What's the they have sign language?
Yeah. Also, like all you have to do is like they pretend like they have a lasso and they just put it around and they start pulling it, and then the other mimes like, whoa.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So telling your lawyer or whatever to get out, making up a new lie about something like your dad fucking molested you, your brother molested you. It's like so fucked up to say, so fucked up to lie about, so fucked up to use it as a lie to get out of a different lie that's super fucked up.
Yeah, you're assuming it's a lie. Didn't we just hear the Menendez case?
Let's pretend George is molesting Casey, okay?
I mean, have we not been pretending that every time we take a shower?
The story Casey tells on that day Casey died is that she slept in, okay? Usually Kaylee slept with her in bed, but this day she woke up to George like waking her up asking like, where's Kaylee? Where's Kaylee? Then they got up to go look for her, and she went one way, her dad went another way, and then she runs back into her dad by the pool with a soaking wet Kaylee in his arms. Casey says that she knew Kaylee was dead when she saw her, sorry. George and Casey panic, and George says that he's going to take care of it and everything will be all right. Don't worry. So Casey was convinced, and Casey doesn't say anything to anyone. This is when she disappears and doesn't come back home. So she just disappears at Tony's house after this. And why don't they just call the police? Baez says it's because of the abuse. She was too scared of her abuser. She was also scared to admit to the accident because her father was there and he's an abuser. In her mind, if she admitted that Kaylee drowned, she would get in trouble for child endangerment causing death. But then on the opposite side of it, she thinks that she was sleeping. Her dad was the one actually in charge of Kaylee at the time because she was in bed. And if George goes to the police, Kaylee could blame him saying that he should have been watching Kaylee. Then he gets the child endangerment charge. And then if he blames Casey, he would just admit to the abuse, and they get charged with that. And that's why George agreed to cover it up. It's fucking stupid. It's like it doesn't even make sense. Why would you just go to the police? Because you're being abused? It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. This way he can still abuse Casey, I guess, if he covers it up. Like, I can still abuse you if I'm not in jail. Like,
well, if you know anything about the power dynamic between an abuser and an abusee, they can sometimes be manipulated into covering up for the acts of the abuser, and they start falling into this weird world where they don't go and tell people this is happening to me, this is happening to my daughter. They fall into this thing of my abuser tells me what to do and I'm a good girl and I do what I'm told.
I can
it's
see
very slippery.
I see what you're saying, and I get like a lot of that. And I get that until right up to the moment you're arrested. Then after that, your abuser's like away from you, you're safe. And then you could be like, my dad let the fucking kid die. I don't want to go to jail for the rest of my life. Like, I don't feel that goes past jail.
But you feel safe. Why? Because everyone else tells you you're safe? Everyone else told you that they would take care of you, but you were still being abused.
I can't make Baldy puke from behind bars. That's the...
Like, maybe Baldy?
I
can. Come over here and give Mr. Baldy a kiss.
Casey doesn't want to have to admit her mistakes or the abuse, I guess. It's just weird. Maybe she gets her life back. If she did, I don't know. But Baez also says in the book, and he says this hinting towards, he doesn't say it out. I think he actually does say it outright. He says that George, since he was molesting his daughter, maybe he's molesting his granddaughter. And that's the reason George wanted to cover up for like molesting a 2-year-old. So if the cops don't find the girl, that means they don't find any signs of abuse. Baez also kind of hints that maybe Kaylee being George's kid/grandkid. Game of Thrones again. So George and Casey decide to hide the body a quarter mile away from their house. Duct taped her in a blanket This is what he says. Instead of it being on her face, they wrapped her in a blanket because she was dead already, duct taped the blanket, put her in a laundry bag, and probably hoped that someone would find her and that Anthony House would not be implicated. Casey said that when a family animal died, that's how her dad would wrap up a dead dog, with duct tape and a blanket. So obviously, when a dog dies, you do the same thing when a kid dies, right? You just put them in a blanket, same thing, bring them out to the forest and chuck them there.
Well, so if anyone's had a parent who took it upon themselves to get rid of a family pet that was on its way out, some would know that this kind of sociopathic behavior would exist inside the father. That doesn't mean that it's taught to the children, right? It's taped up the way the dad would do it.
Well, that's what she's saying. That's what Casey's story is. My dad covered it for me and him because he was there at the same time too.
The dad might have covered it, but for who?
For his wife. Okay. In Baez's opening statements, he starts with the accusations of George molesting Casey growing up, like instantly opens with it, yelling it. She had to go to school after touching her dad's penis is yelled in court within 10 minutes of court starting.
That's hilarious, though.
Wait, you guys didn't go to school after touching your dad's or stepdad's penis? You guys are the weird ones.
I got the day off. That's how I get days off. Yeah, then he starts telling this big story about how Kaylee died by accident by drowning in an above ground pool. And that's why she felt she needed to lie, to keep the other lie up. And he was yelling this stuff at the jury. George was in the courtroom when Baez threw out the accusation. Fortunately enough for them two, they knew this was coming. The lawyer had heard a few weeks before that beginning of the trial that Baez was going to pull that. But they were told by the prosecution not to react. This is being filmed. So when you see George keeping a straight face, he doesn't want to, or that's what he says anyway. He says that he wants to go up there and throttle Jose Baez's little neck. That's how he says it. Baez never mentions the abuse again through the entire trial, though. Just the once in the opening statement, just enough to get it in the jury's mind.
Right, they played the penis game to start trial, and then continued on, like professionally.
Okay, so Baez never mentioned again, but the prosecution knows that it's been said, so they have to get that out of the way. So George ends up being their first witness, and they ask him about if supposed sexual assaults on his daughter. He said no, but it's too late at this point. Baez says in the book that he wanted to bring it up a couple more times throughout the trial, but his experts weren't deposed. And the judge was all about, if you don't depose all of your witnesses before they go to trial, I want to know what they're going to say. I'm not letting them on the stand. So these two experts weren't deposed, so they weren't allowed to come up. I don't believe that, Jose Baez.
I remember when the dad was on trial and they were asking him when Jose Baez was grilling him about molesting Casey, and he was just like, and he started dancing around the question. It took him a long time to say no.
This is a good moment to bring to light. For me and Mike, where we live, this Casey Anthony thing was an everyday thing. I was in school, and they were showing it on the TVs in school. We were watching the Casey Anthony case play out in real time during biology.
How many times did you get sent in the hall for your erection?
Yep.
The only time back then when I got an erection is when my hot ass science teacher would come over and lean over and tell me I needed to do better, but I was just staring at her down blouse.
So she came behind you and whispered in your ear, "I killed my baby," and you just immediately busted.
You should look it up. Florida, we're known for it. The teachers love us young bucks.
Yeah, you are known for that. I know that for a fact, too. So, yeah, he said he had two psychiatrists, whatever. They came to, whatever. It's in his book. So, George is on the stand. Prosecution says, hey, did you abuse your daughter? He says no. He takes a while. And to say what you're saying, Michael, it takes him a while, I agree. But I think he's and maybe I could be wrong, but he's just so fucking pissed, first of all, and he wants to answer it in a way that the media is not going to turn it around for him being like, see, but he did it anyway because he took too long to answer. So they went see, he's doing it. He took him too long to answer. It's a 0-win situation for him, that entire thing. I felt bad for George in that. I don't think George fucking molested her at all. He's I don't. So poor fucking guy. He could have, but I just don't think that.
I think he did.
I mean, if he did, the unlucky, lucky, good or bad, it's all very subjective in George's opinion.
So George is on stage. On stage.
He's on stage.
George is
He's
on the
rocking
stand.
the mic.
George on the stand.
Beating the allegations up there on stage.
Baez has to go question him, and he's not allowed to bring up any more of the sexual abuse stuff. First thing he asks him, he's about, so you tried to kill yourself a couple months ago, huh? That's the first thing he asks him. So you tried to kill yourself, huh? And George fucking loses it. Uses a suicide attempt as a way to prove George was feeling guilty about something. See, why would he do that unless he was feeling guilty about it? Baez even gets him to read parts of the suicide note on the stand, grilling him about what the parts meant. Was it killing or covering up the death of Kaylee? Is that why you're crying? Is that why you're losing it right now? It's just reasonable doubt, putting reasonable doubt there. Also, in his opening statements, he brings up Roy Kronk and how he touched the skull, accuses him of doing it on purpose, contaminating the entire crime scene, intimidating that.
What do you mean? I just kind of poked it a couple times with a stick, and then I may have pissed on it a couple times, but that's about it.
I did my due diligence. I called you, didn't I?
I mean, I was just checking the water meter, making sure that people were in compliance.
Baez even goes as far as saying, like, he even intimates, he doesn't say it outright, but he says that he might have something to do with her death. He said maybe he put the body there later. You don't know. The chloroform evidence, he talked about how it could be cleaning supplies. The computer, the thing that's about the chloroform that's interesting, on the computer, they hired an expert that said that there was, the prosecution hired an expert saying that there was 84 searches for the word chloroform around that time, showing that this was premeditated.
That's 84 too many.
Yeah, actually, Baez got his expert to look over the data from their expert, and it showed that his, like, the way he was looking was like fucked up. It wasn't even right. It was only looked up once. He was like, "You did this wrong," and the guy admitted on the stand after. He's like, "Oh yeah, I did do that wrong. It's only once, not 84 times." And
that's one time too many.
The one time, Baez says it's because one of Casey's friends posted on MySpace like a meme that was like, "Win her over with chloroform," and it was like some fucking guy with like a bottle, like let's just say like a Fall Out Boy with a, like, you know what I mean, with a pip or a thing of chloroform. Win her over with chloroform.
Hey, hold on. It's Vault Boy,
whatever.
Go ahead.
And then she, like, I don't know if it even was a Vault Boy. I'm just saying that, but
it's Ace Ventura just jumping on a child.
It's just always important for me to point out when you're wrong.
That's okay. Casey claims that she didn't know what chloroform was, and she looked it up because she saw that meme. She's like, "What's chloroform mean?" Oh my God, Ricardo, you're so funny. I get it now. So she looked up fucking chloroform that once for a meme. On the stand, though, Cindy admitted looking up chloroform while looking up chlorophyll and Google autofilling the rest of the answer for her. She was looking up chlorophyll and oops, I got chloroform.
The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
She was looking up chlorophyll because the dog ate some bamboo and she didn't want it to die. So she's like, "What about chloroform? Wow. Is there chloroform in bamboo?"
She was worried about chlorophyll and not the razor sharp innards of a bamboo. Well, that's weird.
Yeah.
Put that in your notes.
Will the stainless steel hurt my dog after he swallows a razor blade?
Prosecution gets her on this. They go like, "Wait, we looked up your work schedule. You were at work when the search was happening. There's no way you looked this up." She's like, "Sometimes I go home for lunch. It was me. I know I did it. It was me." Like, she's still enabling Casey mid-trial. She's still trying to get Casey off of this fucking thing. It's so crazy. Cindy also admitted to the stand that the stain they found in the trunk of Casey's Sunflower was there when they bought the car. Like, wow.
We got a good discount on that car because it had a child-sized stain in the trunk, is what they said.
It turns out consumers don't like child-sized stains in their trunk.
George told me it was a good deal. He was in car sales before.
Mike, you're very funny. You're a very funny man.
Oh, thank you, man.
Baez accuses George of having an affair on the stand as well with one of the volunteers helping to find Kaylee. Baez calls Crystal
With a volunteer?
Yeah, one of the volunteers looking for Kaylee.
I would love to help. Anyone, drop me a link. Send me a DM.
They call Crystal Holloway to the stand. This is the girl's name. She states she had an affair with George. She revealed a text from George that read, quote, "Just thinking about you. I need you in my life." She says that post-coitus, George once told her that Kaylee's death was just a huge accident that snowballed out of control.
I had no idea my dick was that big.
It milk balled out of control, and I blew her up.
You know, if you think about it, he could have sent that text as like a means of catharsis, like towards his granddaughter. It's like, I need you in my life. I miss you. I don't want you to be dead.
I just want to keep fucking you. Can we say these things?
She also stated that George told her that Kaylee was dead. George denies all of this, saying the text was something he wrote to all the people who helped him during these trying times. That's what he said on the stand. I wrote that text. I'm just thinking about everyone. I'm just thinking about them, and I need them all in my life. It's not just her. Anyways, Bias puts out this theory that Kaylee's death was an accident. Zanny's exposed this as a lie, though. The lying was explained away by the abuse, and the stealing was explained by the fake job. I will say something else about Zanny the nanny. What is Zanny short form for?
Xanax.
Xanax.
Florida bitches love Xanax.
A prescription drug and also a party drug that dumb rappers were into in the early 2000s. According to witness testimony, Kaylee used to sleep for 10 to 13 hours at a time. Both George, Anthony, and Tony Lazaro testified to this. She was always groggy and falling asleep all the time. So was Casey giving her Xannies to put her to bed? Was Zanny the nanny just the way to make her go to sleep? So let's talk a little bit about Baez and his pool drowning theory, and then we're almost done. Casey claims that when they found Kaylee, they noticed that the pool ladder was left up all the time. This was a rarity. This net was never left up. But the night before, Cindy had been swimming with Kaylee just before she strangled out her mom. Remember that from the last episode? They say that Kaylee got up by herself in the morning, let herself outside, and jumped into the pool and drowned. Baez used the photo of Kaylee opening the door to the back of the yard in his closing arguments, where you can see the pool in the background, showing like, look, she could have opened it up herself. Casey did nothing. This was just a bad accident that went wrong.
Yeah, and then after she drowned, she traveled to the swamp and put herself into a bag.
No, her dad covered up for her, put her in a bag. This is the whole theory. The dad, they all panicked. They didn't know what to do, so they wrapped up a little girl in duct tape
Just
and a
like
blanket.
today's society, to blame it all on the man. Like there's not some smart
No
manipulating.
little girl in her right mind
lady.
would go swimming in a pool that wasn't capable of swimming alone, because children who can't swim are terrified of the water. If she drowned in that pool from lack of being able to swim, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Also, the ladder was never down for that pool for her to get into it.
The ladder was down that day, and even Cindy admits to it. But I disagree. I think kids are dumb, and they think if I swam with grandma yesterday, I could totally swim today, and then they drown. I think that could happen 100%. I love the water. I can swim no problem. I did it yesterday. Fuck yeah. Done deal.
Humble brag.
Bitch, I can swim. Kids die all the time from drowning. Hashtag humble brag.
It's still, to me, the biggest problem with the bias theory is like, why would they go through all this and not just call the cops? Like, I get that you're gonna get in trouble, but I mean, obviously you're gonna get in way more trouble. But Casey's so fucking narcissistic that she thinks if she just lies and lies and lies, it'll just go away. On July 5th, 2011, the jury deliberated for 11 and a half hours over 2 days, and not guilty on the first-degree murder, aggravated assault on a child, and the child endangerment charges. She did get a guilty verdict on the lying to police, the 4 of them. Count 4 was providing false information to police. The I work at Universal lie. Count 5 was leading police around with the Zanny thing. Count 6 was lying about her friends, Juliette Lewis and Jeff Hopkins, being told about Kaylee being missing. Juliette not even existing. Jeff existing, but just being really confused when they came and talked to him. And count 7 was the lie about getting a phone call of Kaylee that very day when the police first got those 911 calls. Everybody is pissed that Casey gets off. One of the assistant prosecutors named Jeff Ashton leaves the courtroom right after the verdict's read. You can see he's super pissed before they were even done for the day. Nancy Grace has probably my favorite line of this entire thing.
Nancy Grace, R.I.P.
Is she dead?
Yeah, I guess, Mike. Jesus.
No, she's also alive, much like O.J. Simpson. Or no, that was the other way around.
Yep.
Look at her eyes. They never blink.
Yeah, she looks like she might have stuffed her child in a trunk.
As the defense sits by and has their champagne toast after that not guilty verdict, somewhere out there, the devil is dancing tonight.
Somewhere out there, the devil's dancing tonight.
The news was so different. It was so different back in the day.
Those crazy eyebrows are. She's so awesome. I hate her so much, but I like her too. I like her. I like hating her. Does that make sense? Like I hate her, but I like the fact that I hate her.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Without a method of murder, without a body, with all the circumstantial evidence, it's hard to get a jury to convict someone on first-degree murder, especially when the death penalty is at stake. Juries are just going to be extra safe. The prosecution just wasn't good at painting a picture as Baez. They were all fact-based arguments and like evidence that wasn't conclusive, but it's all like evidence. They weren't sexy. They didn't do it cool like Jose Baez. They didn't yell at someone, call him a fucking child molester. They didn't make up cool catchphrases like fantasy forensics. They just went out there and did their job, which wasn't good enough for a Florida court. With all that, Baez made it look sexy. Someone's life is on the line. They said, fuck it, we're not doing this. And yeah, Ashton didn't show up for her sentencing. Just so you guys know, she got 4 years for those 4 crimes, the max sentence. But she got time off for time served. And all she ever had to do was spend 10 more days in prison. She also got a $4,000 fine for $1,000 for each one of the charges, which was $4,000 she had to pay. And it's almost like her being a liar helped her with this case as well. It also gives reasonable doubt. I find this an interesting thought, that she just lied so often that even the truth sounds like a lie and nobody knows what to fucking think anymore. So everything's just a lie because she just lies all the time. So it's a reasonable doubt giver. Just keep lying. Just lie, 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 lie. If she was always honest and never did a bad thing ever, people would know she just snapped and murdered her kid because it'd be the only explanation. But since she just lied all the time, it was just jury couldn't figure out what was right. I love it. When she leaves prison, they have to leave her out the back door. She was scared she was going to get shot. They put a bulletproof vest on her. Cindy and George left right after the verdict is read. They didn't talk to Casey. George and Casey are still estranged. Claiming her father molested her as a kid probably makes you not want to talk to your daughter anymore, I would assume. Cindy still has some contact with her daughter. She's always lied for her and with her, so I'm not shocked about this at all. Jurors, after this case, I do want to mention a couple things. Jurors were scared for their lives, especially with sunshine laws. That's the one downside of the sunshine laws. All their names were released, and all of them still to this day get death threats. Some of the jurors have gone on record saying that Casey probably did kill Kaylee, but the prosecution didn't really have any hard evidence. Assistant prosecutor Ashton thinks that the reason Casey got off, the jurors were all conspiracy theorists because anyone who wasn't a conspiracy theorist thought that she was guilty because they saw the stuff in the media, and that automatically discounted them from the jury pool. So whoever's left is a conspiracy theorist. That's all Ashton says. It's the only reason she got off, conspiracy theories.
Well, excuse me.
The judge of the case even came out publicly and said that he thought Casey was guilty. If you go back and you watch him look at the verdict, he like reads it real quickly first, and you could tell he had to read it again because he's like, wait, what? And then he gives.
Are you sure? You can take more. I'll give you more time if you need.
It's exactly what it kind of looks like. He's like, oh, wait, what? Am I reading what I think I'm reading here? I am I not? Huh. Here's some of the things that weren't laid out in court. If you guys want to talk about, let's do this first. Casey was in a jail with a girl named April Whalen in 2009.
I bet she was wailing on that thing. But
yeah, she was. April was in jail for the accidental drowning of her 15-month-old found by her dad. Seems like a good story for Casey to copy. So there's this private investigator that worked for Jose Baez named Dominic Casey. He came out after the trial saying that he was the one who came up with the drowning story as a plausible way for Kaylee could have died. And this was agreed upon in a boardroom with all of them when they're doing a brainstorming session involving Baez and Casey Anthony. PLA also claimed that Casey was paying for her defense in blowjobs. He says this in public to the media.
Why is that not a good currency? That's the oldest currency there is.
Yeah.
God bless.
Other evidence that came out after the trial Internet Explorer versus Firefox. Now, the Orange County Sheriff's Office was in charge of disseminating the information on the Anthony family computer. The chloroform searches were made on Google through Internet Explorer. There were other things searched on the computer the day Kaylee went missing, but on Firefox browser. In 2011, people weren't as adept with computers as they are now, and apparently the prosecution didn't know how to ask the Orange County Sheriff's Office to give them the information from the Firefox browser. Like, the information was found, but it just wasn't asked for. So they found it.
Okay.
The
I'm
prosecution.
sorry. I have a question about all this then.
Sure.
When are we going to be done?
Very soon.
Okay, cool.
So they fucking search. They get all this information from Internet Explorer. None of the fucking Firefox stuff. Now these guys on the internet ask for. They get all the case files and they go through it. And they find all this stuff. They're like, wait, how come this was never brought up in court? It's because the fucking prosecution just didn't ask for it. They found it, which is crazy. At 8 a.m. the day Kaylee went missing, Casey logs into AOL Instant Messenger and starts chatting up with some guy with the screen name White Boy, W-I-T-E, or sorry, White Playboy, White with no H and Boy with an I.
Jeremy?
Where did you get my old AOL Instant Messenger handle?
That's Jeremy's AOL Instant Messenger from back in the day. I recognized it immediately.
That's hilarious. If it's true, that would be awesome, but it's not. Then she browses her MySpace and Facebook for a couple hours, visiting thousands of different pages. She was looking at all her friends having great times without kids. Thousands of clicks. Thousands of clicks is what they're saying. So she's looking at all of her friends having great times without kids. Then she hears her dad leave for work around 2:30. At 2:51 on Firefox, someone searches up foolproof suffocation. Apparently Baez got this info. He knew about it, and he was ready to blame the whole thing on George. But the prosecution never got the info and never brought it up at trial. So the Orange County Sheriff's Office never gives them the info because they never asked for it. That's amazing. After the whole thing, everyone involved in this mishandling of information calls it an oversight. And Casey for sure heard her dad leave, look over to her daughter, look over her Facebook profiles, all of her friends having fun, and said, man, fuck it. Wrapped her daughter's face with duct tape and let her die. Probably after sending her with Zanny to the nanny, if you know what I mean. And then she parks her car beside a dumpster, maybe grabbed a garbage bag from the dumpster, thinking it would cover up the smell of a dead body, as she'd been carrying around for a week or however long. Chloroform levels are just high because she tried to clean the trunk afterwards. That's the end of that. Texas Echo Search sues her, settles in court. George and Kaylee thinks Kaylee was drugged by Casey to make her sleep with Xanax. So that's George's theory. He says it to this day. Casey fucking killed my granddaughter. George also tried to kill himself again in 2018 with a car wreck, which I find everything wraps around himself again. He tried to kill himself the way he killed somebody else with a car wreck. 2024, George and Cindy take the lie detector test to answer some questions about the case.
Oh, yeah, this is great.
For the TV show, it's called Casey Anthony's Parents, the lie detector test, which doesn't add anything to the conversation, but it was still fun to watch. You get to see the dynamic between Cindy and George, and you just see Cindy's a powerhouse and pushes George around. Casey was shacked up with an investigator.
She sure is. She sure is a powerhouse.
I don't know if this is who this porn fucking comes from, but she shacked up with the investigator from her legal team, a guy named Pat McKenna, for a while. She was doing research for him. He also funded her photography business. She finally got to be a photographer. And then they broke up. And then 2020, Casey starts to try and become a private detective herself. But she couldn't get a PI license because of her criminal record as a felon.
Tried to become a cadaver dog?
Yes, she tried to become a dog cadaver. It was.
She wants to be a dead dog?
She put the forms through in Clearwater, Florida. In 2022, she does the documentary thing, Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies. Like I said, I didn't watch, just watch highlights. She just blames her dad for everything. Same story with that one. This time she claims she thought Kaylee was alive. And that's why she wasn't lying the whole time. She thought, my dad said she's good. She said she's alive the whole time. Much of the criticism from this thing was that all the questions were softball questions. Nobody actually fucking grilled her, which is kind of sad. Both Kaylee's parents passed the lie detector test, by the way. And Casey has a new boyfriend now named Tyson Ray Rhodes. Rhodes broke off his 20-year marriage to be with this piece of garbage. And I think they're still dating. And
Tyrone?
Tyson. Yes.
Hey, baby, I don't care if you killed your baby. You gonna give me a new baby.
Hi, my name is Tyson. Hi, how are you?
Hello, my name is Tyson. I love you so much.
March 2025 is the last thing here. Casey Anthony starts a TikTok account.
Hell yeah. Look at her forehead, dude. Shiny. That's what I like.
What?
That's what I look for in my women. Shiny foreheads. Hell yeah.
Today is Saturday, March 1st, 2025. This is my first of probably many recordings on a series that I'm starting. I am a legal advocate. I am a researcher. I've been in the legal field since 2011. And in this capacity,
Since I experienced the legal
feel that
system.
it's necessary if I'm going to continue to operate appropriately as a legal advocate that I start to advocate for myself and also advocate for my daughter. For those of you who don't know, my name is Casey Anthony. My daughter is Kaylee Anthony. My
That's a
parents
very
are George
small
and Cindy
pool.
Anthony.
No, your
This is not
daughter
about them.
was
This is not
Casey
in
Anthony.
response to anything that they have said or done. That's not to say that I'm not going to respond at some point to some of the things that they have said and done.
Hell
The
yeah.
whole point of this is for me to begin to reintroduce myself. I'm doing this both personally for me, but in a professional capacity. Moving forward, the majority of what you will see will be me speaking in a professional capacity. My goal is to continue to help give a voice to people, to give people tools and resources that they can utilize so they
God
actually know
bless.
where they can turn to. So with that, please join me on Substack. If
Hey,
you
join me
have
on
questions, I
OnlyFans.
will
Go into
set up an email
Substack right
address where
now.
we can correspond directly. Up until this point, that has never happened. And it's only going to be on a limited basis regarding legal issues, legal matters. One of the main reasons that I'm doing this, there are people close to me who have been targeted and attacked recently. There are also people close to me who have had some recent things occur.
Hey, Twitter world.
And
It's me,
when
Casey
necessary,
Anthony.
people needed to step up, myself included. So
This is my favorite part.
as a
Turn off the
proponent for
comments.
the LGBTQ community, for our legal community,
Yes.
women's rights, I feel that it's important that I use this platform that was thrust upon me and now look at as a blessing as opposed to the curse that it has been since 2008.
Thrust upon
With
you!
that, these aren't going to be perfect. They're not going
Listen
to
to
be
this.
edited. Most of the time, they're not going to be short. But I am proverbially standing in the light, embracing this piece, still going to keep my privacy intact. So you will get very comfortable with my car. And
Is that a metronome in the background?
I
She
will
got it.
explain in great detail why it's
She's got her
important for
fucking
people to
turn
protect their
signal on
privacy.
for why.
It's not just
She's holding up a
important to
whole
public
intersection
figures,
right now.
it's
She does
Yeah.
a video for
private
TikTok.
individuals. And with the current climate in our country especially, it's that much more important, which is why I am utilizing the Substack platform. Yes,
I'm
I
on a busy
am
highway with my hazards
advertising
on.
this and publishing this on TikTok, possibly also through
I gotta
You
keep
funny
my
guy.
anonymity.
platforms,
It's like
but
on the news.
my intention
Casey
is
Anthony's
to
car.
separate from that and showcase even more why Substack is such an important resource for people to utilize moving forward. Anyway, I appreciate your time, and we'll see how this goes.
Terribly.
Fucking
It's
go
gonna
suck
go.
another
It's gonna go
dick,
terribly.
bitch.
It's gonna go terribly.
Mike, is this Sweet Tits? I'm looking at her right now, and I'm putting it all together right now. You didn't want to tell me her name because Sweet Tits is Casey Anthony. And
Don't
guess
you
what, buddy?
do this. Don't you
I got-
even
hey,
pretend. Don't you even pretend to
I got
do
your
this.
back, dude.
Fuck you. Fuck
I
you.
got your back.
Don't you even pretend to do this right now. Not
It's
a
not my.
joke. Not funny.
It's not my.
No.
It's not my
No.
fault.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Do you go by Tyson Ray Rhodes? All right.
Hi, my name is Tyson.
Actually, Michael, I run an undead deck. Wink, wink.
All right. So the last thing here, there is a one singular positive thing in this entire thing. In 2012, a bill for what is now called Kaylee's Law is signed in by Governor Rick Scott, Florida Governor Rick Scott.
No one is allowed to be tied up by duct tape in a trunk anymore.
It's illegal.
The law, Casey's Law, makes it a felony for a parent or legal guardian not to report a missing child, which is probably a good idea. That is the fucked up story of Casey Anthony and her fucked up thing she did. Is there any extra theories you want to add to tack another 15 minutes on this for RJ?
Her mom did it. It was Cindy.
Why do you think Cindy did it?
Cindy is clearly the one. She's guilty.
You just say clearly though, but why?
Okay, so
It's
her husband.
pronounced clearly.
Clearly.
All right, so Cindy, she was covering up for her husband way back in the day. All right, we've got these alleged moments where her father George was being a little handsy, a little touchy with his daughter. He's got this mental disorder where he's a terrible person who wants to fiddle his own daughter. And then she gets jealous about that, but they're on their rise. As you said, they were becoming very successful until he became a gambling addict. His daughter got too old. He had to find another outlet. So he found gambling and he started playing all these games, and his family was falling in disarray. And his wife is known as a clear manipulator. It says so in the court documents. She's very good at lying. This is something that Casey probably learned from growing up, this dynamic between her parents. And this man kept going, and they were losing everything, and the wife kept standing up for him. And I know Florida very well, Michael. You do as well. These bougie Floridian, these tan, freckled titty hoes in their 40s and 50s, Mike, you see them bouncing around from seafood shack to seafood shack. Looking for any young dick they can get, Mike. But they can never get that young dick. But their evil, rich husbands, you know what they do get? Whatever they want. And sooner or later, that daughter he used to fiddle back in the day, and he still has dreams about, has a daughter of her own. Mike, this is tragic. This is no laughing matter, Dick. I look at your face. Richard, I'm looking at you right now. You're elated with the news I'm giving you. But it's sad news.
RJ's a dick too. Just keep that in mind.
Nah, he's a McCarthy, and that comes from a rare breed. They built the railroads, Mike.
Not mine. No, mine were lazy as fuck.
His were getting rid of commies.
Oh, so Mike, you were the one building the railroad.
No, they weren't here yet.
I don't know if you guys know this. RJ is 100% Chinese.
Yeah, listen, man. I mean, if that's the case, if Joseph McCarthy is a relative, he would be very, very upset to find out how left wing I am.
Shing.
Yeah,
that's
pretty
all
much.
I heard.
There's several hammers and sickles in my home right now.
I can see it in your eyes. One of your eyes is a hammer, the other one's a sickle, and I'm sick and tired of it.
Are you? So this is because she's fucking covering for her husband? What? I don't get why. I still don't get it.
Absolutely, 100%. She's covering for her husband. So it says in the documents that it was pool day with Grandpa, right? The above ground pool time, the happy times with good old Grandpa George Boy. It was good times with the granddaughter, and they were swimming around. He goes, no, Casey, don't worry about it. She's fine. I know you don't see her, and all those crazy gasping noise have disappeared. Don't worry about it. We got this all handled. And his wife knew very well the power dynamic and the fetish that her husband had. Well, she's got a pretty good lifestyle, and she's got to cover that thing up. Mike, don't shake your head. Embrace the evil of a Florida cunt. It happens.
Lifestyle. They weren't living in a fucking mansion on the beach, Jeremy.
It's called a McMansion. We all know they exist in Florida. They're McMansions, Mike.
But they weren't even an HOA. You saw the protesters outside their house. That was at the time, Jeremy, circa the bubble. That house was maybe $90,000.
Well, you see, he made his wealth, Mike.
He
didn't squander it.
He's a goddamn security guard at a movie theater. What are you talking about?
This is what he ended up as.
No.
This is what he ended up as.
He
didn't start as a security. Oh my gosh, Mike. You know a lavish lifestyle in Florida is an underground pool with a screen around it. And he had that, Mike.
He had an above
No,
ground
he
had
pool
that-
with a
he had an above ground pool that you could buy at Walmart for $200.
He did. You're right. I concede. She did it. It was Casey.
She did it.
Thank God.
Absolutely.
We 100%. 100%. She just wanted to be her friends. That's all.
Nope, the grandmother covered up for it. She was jealous of everything that was going on. She saw the beauty.
That's where the music's playing. No!
I just watched Private Dicks and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.